What's up, YouTube? Hi, I'm back. Welcome. Okay, so today I'm going to do a video that I really am hoping is not going to be super long because I have so much that I could talk about. I could go on and on and on about this subject, and what I'm going to be talking about is my experience at ULTA and the pros and cons of working at ULTA. I want everybody to keep in mind, disclaimer, this only applies to my experience and my store. I cannot speak for every employee. I cannot speak for ULTA as a brand, as a company. This is just things that I noticed and that I experienced while I was working there. And I did only work there for a summer, so I worked there for only like 3 to 4 months. I only worked there for a short time and I only had a small position. So this is just my experience as a beauty advisor at ULTA. Just so everybody knows, it's a disclaimer. These are my opinions and they're only based on myself, okay? Thank you. Okay, now that that's out of the way and nobody's gonna come for me, I'm just gonna tell you I'm gonna be speaking about 5 pros and 5 cons about working at ULTA. So go ahead and comment down below if you agree or disagree with me. If you have ever worked at ULTA, if you work at ULTA now, if you plan on working at ULTA, if you know me and you worked with me at ULTA and you're watching this, hi! Comment down below and say something if you agree or disagree. So anyway, I'll stop chatting, I'll stop yapping, and we're gonna get right into the video. Okay, so the first most obvious pro is going to be the discount and the gratis. So the discount at ULTA, I'm pretty sure it was 25%. I cannot remember exactly. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And the good thing about the discount too is that during certain weekends you'll have an extra, I think like 5 or 10% off. And I remember one time we had like a 50% off of Urban Decay. Like we had an extra discount on Urban Decay. Things like that, they give you extra discounts, which is always nice. Another pro is the gratis. If you don't know what gratis is, it's free stuff. So basically, if you do something good, if you're successful, if you make a sale, if you do something that your managers think is good for the company, then you will get a piece of gratis. And sometimes you get to choose what that is and sometimes you don't. But either way, you get free things. You get to try new products, which is nice. Okay, if you think I'm talking fast, it's because I am, because I generally talk fast, but also because I'm trying to get through everything that I want to talk about, and I know it's going to take forever, so sorry. So the first con then, number 1 con that I want to talk about is kind of just like the day-to-day tasks of a job that were really boring that I didn't like. And the number 1 thing that I really didn't like was just being stuck at the register. Because I was a beauty advisor, I did not work with doing makeup on people, helping people find a foundation. I did get to learn about that, and I'll go into that in a minute, but I didn't really work with that. My day-to-day was really just register. So if I was the only beauty advisor there, especially if I opened or if I was closing, I would be stuck at the register from 10 o'clock when we opened until like 2 or 2:30 or whenever the next girl came in when I could take a lunch or a 15. So it was really boring. I would just be stuck at the register, and if it was a slow day like a Monday at 10 o'clock, it was just boring. And another thing is tasking. It was so boring, like, what I mean by that is, like, just cleaning. Like, we would stay until 10 just to clean and just, like, wipe things down and just, even when it was clean, I mean, that's part of every single retail job, so that's just something I didn't like about it, but that's really just goes with the retail job. That doesn't really go for just ULTA. That's really anywhere you work, you're going to experience that. So the second pro is probably one of the biggest pros that I can really say that I can talk about with ULTA is that I learned a lot. And I think you have to be proactive about it because I mentioned that your job isn't about makeup. You have to actually learn it and you have to put effort into seeing what's going on and asking questions. And I learned a lot about products there because customers will ask you, even though that's not necessarily in your job description, the customers will ask you about a product and you have to be able to tell them. So I learned a lot about different products and brands because we always had brand events. So I would learn about like how brands make sales, how brands want to sell things, how many things people will buy, just like things like that. I learned a lot about sales, and I learned a lot about actual products and actual makeup techniques. I actually had a manager. She was great. She helped me figure out how to match foundation. So I learned how to do that. I learned how to do a lot of different things, and I learned kind of how makeup works. When I first started working at ULTA, I was really bad at doing makeup, and since I've worked there and even into this year, I've excelled so much and I've learned so much, and a lot of that is because I worked at ULTA and I learned a lot about how other people use their makeup. So it was a really good learning experience. If you want to learn more about the beauty industry, then definitely work at ULTA and you'll learn a lot if you really take the effort to learn. Okay, the second con that I'm going to talk about is hours. So the hours I really didn't always like. They weren't terrible. Actually, my shifts were usually pretty good because we did close at 9, so I could get out at 10, and we just have to stay till 10. Every time we had to stay until 10. And I think that was only specific to my store, but that wasn't a big deal. The thing I didn't like was getting up early because I don't know why. I really hated this, but every day you had to have a manager and a beauty advisor, or somebody like me, there at 6 a.m. So we would get there at 6 a.m. on like a Wednesday, and we didn't open till 10. So for 4 hours, I would literally just be straightening, cleaning, even if the store was clean. So I really didn't like getting up early for that, because I felt like there was no point to do that. And then on Fridays, for us it was Fridays. I think it's different for every Ulta, but we would have our shipment come in. So we would get there at like 6 or 7 and be doing shipment all morning. And I didn't mind shipment, but just getting up early for that kind of stuff, I really didn't like. And then another thing about hours was just working like long shifts on your feet. That's really just a retail thing, but I didn't like being on my feet for like 8 hours and only having like a 30-minute break and like a 15-minute break. So that's another thing. The third pro, something that I really loved about this job, was being around the beauty community. And what I mean by that is the people you work with. If you're a beauty-oriented person, the people that you work with are like you. They care about makeup, they care about skincare, the body, and the customers that come in, they genuinely want to talk to you. They genuinely want to know things, and they actually look up to you and your expertise. And it really is a really good community to be around, because it's men and women who care about what you care about. And it's just nice to be in a place where you're not looked down on for wearing a lot of makeup. People say, wow, you look great. You know, it's just nice to be in a place where people appreciate makeup and beauty and everything that there is about that. And another thing with being around the beauty industry is you're around, brands will come in and they bring in their big reps, their higher up people, and you are around people who have excelled in the beauty industry, and you get to see that success, and you get to see where you can actually go with makeup and things like that. So it's really nice to be around that industry. And for me, it's been nice to have that on my resume, to have a background in Ulta, and to have had a starting point. It was a really good starting point for me into makeup and into learning about that. So the third con that I'm going to talk about is the favoritism that I experienced. And this is really only about my store and what happened to me. This is definitely not something that happens in all Ultas, but there was a lot of favoritism and kind of like looking down on my position. I remember I had a new manager come in like halfway through my time there, and I really don't think she meant harm by this, but she came up to me and she was like, oh, what's your name and everything. I was introducing myself, and she's like, oh, so you're just a beauty advisor? And I was like, yes, I'm just a beauty advisor. And I know that she didn't mean anything by that, but it just goes to show the kind of culture that's like in everybody at Ulta, that beauty advisors are like the lowest people. Like, we're the ones that have to come in early and do the cleaning and do all of that, and we don't get to work in the nice side. Like, I would go over to the nice side and help a customer, and they'd be like, you're not supposed to be doing that. And I understand that everyone's supposed to have a job, of course, and we all play our own roles, but I just really didn't like that. I was not necessarily by everybody. I did have a couple people, like, I did have one manager who really helped me learn more about makeup, because she knew that's what I wanted to do. But for the most part, your managers aren't going to be the people that are going to teach you about it, which is fine, because it's not supposed to be a job like that. But I really wish that there wasn't so much favoritism, and that I had more opportunity to learn more, and that my managers would have taken that opportunity and let me do more, instead of just saying, you're just a beauty advisor, you have to do this job, and you don't get to learn anything else. Like, it wasn't like I felt like I had a chance to excel, or they saw potential under beauty advisors at all. It really didn't happen. And I know I said this con was favoritism, but it really is more like there wasn't a lot of room to grow, and I just felt like I was kind of not accepted, and I wasn't really like treated like I meant something to the company. I was just somebody who was there at the register, so I didn't like that. So the fourth pro, this was actually something that I really liked the most, was it was so much fun. Like, on a Saturday when we'd have an event, it would be busy with people everywhere, and I would be at the register all day, and I really like talking to customers, so I'd get to talk to customers, help them I'd make a sale too. They would give us like little products to like, try and add this on, try and get someone to buy this, or sign up for loyalty, and it was just nice to be in a busy environment. Saturdays were so fun. The day went by quickly. People wanted to talk to me. There was people around everywhere. I got to talk about makeup. It was really fun when it was busy. Like, I didn't mind it. I loved my job. So I actually really did like working there. It was a fun environment. Another con was that, at least in my experience, I had inconsistent managers. I had like 3 or 4 managers, I think, and there was like 5 or 6. There were so many managers. I really did not understand who I was supposed to look up to. And with inconsistent managers, what I mean by that is that my GM was great. She was always on top of things, and she was really strict about her rules. She did a really good job running the store, but she was only strict about certain things, and she would tell me to do one thing, and then my next manager would come in and tell me something else and be like, why are you doing it this way? And I would say, well, she told me to do this. And then my next manager would say something different. Like, I could ask every single one of my managers the same question, and they would all tell me something different, so I never knew what I was supposed to be doing. I just feel like they didn't communicate that well. Like, they had different ideas of what was supposed to happen. It was just confusing. I did not like getting in trouble for things that weren't my fault, when the managers couldn't communicate right and couldn't just tell you exactly what they wanted. You know, it was annoying. So my last pro, something that was really good for me, is that they were really great about working with my schedule. And I was not a student or anything at that time because it was the summer, but I was able to take a whole week off for vacation. It was super easy to switch shifts, and it was just really easy for me to work with my schedule. I could even tell my manager, hey, I have something to do next week, can we switch shifts? And it was really easy to work with them and get the schedule changed to what worked for me. So I really like that flexibility. Oh, the fifth and final con is the pay. And I don't know if this applies to everybody, but at my location, I think I said in my last video, I made $8.25 an hour. And that's really not a lot. For a retail job, I kind of understand it, but I mean, I have a younger sister who's 16, she makes $9.50 at her job, so I just felt like it wasn't enough pay. And because I was working like 40 hours a week, it was fine. Like I made pretty good money working every day, but it just wasn't enough, and I didn't have the opportunity to make commission. Ultimately, I just felt like I wasn't getting paid enough for what I was doing, and that just goes back to how ULTA, I feel like they don't really respect the beauty advisor position. I just felt like they didn't care about me. Like, I wasn't special, I was just another beauty advisor, and it just really wasn't fun for me. It just made me feel like I wasn't important, they didn't care about me there, and the pay was just the last and final thing that was just like, I don't need a discount on all this stuff, I don't buy that much stuff anyway, and it wasn't worth it for me to be making that much money. So ultimately, it just didn't work out for me. It just wasn't the job for me, but it really was a good place to work, and I really did enjoy it. There was just not enough for me to stay, and even if I had gotten promoted or moved up, I don't think I would have made much more, so I decided to leave, but it really was a good place to stay. Anyway, that's everything. I'm sorry I had to rush through this and make it really fast, but I can only make 15-minute long videos, so that's the reason why. I would love to talk more and go into detail, so please leave a comment down below and I'd be happy to talk to you about it, especially if you're interested in working at ULTA and you have a question for me. Please comment down below. I really would love to talk to you guys about it, or even if you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it because I know everyone had different experiences. So yeah, let me know if you want to know whatever I'm wearing on my face, what my makeup is, and I'll tell you. I can do a tutorial if you want. I feel like my videos that aren't tutorials are more successful though, so that's why I'm talking about ULTA today, also because I had a lot to say. So let me know if you want to hear more. Of course, don't forget to check out my social media down below, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you can see my new videos. I only post about once a week, so it won't be annoying, but I will try and put more content out, and thank you guys so much for watching. That's everything, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!